Soon, one of the biggest fights of the year will take place when the UFC returns to Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, where Charles Oliveira will face Islam Makhachev for the vacant UFC Lightweight title. The main event headlines an excellent card, but this is just a spectacular matchup. Many are arguing that Islam doesn't even deserve the title shot as he hasn't really faced any top contenders yet, but we know what he's capable of, and many already picked him to be champion by the end of the year. Even Joe Rogan told Dana White backstage after UFC 274, where Oliveira defeated Gaethje, this is the fight that needs to be made, and it looks like the boss listened because we are now getting Charles versus Islam for October 22nd. But let's start to break it down and look at the man who's looking to become Dagestan's new champion, Islam Makhachev. Last 3 wins: a round 1 victory over Bobby Green, a round 1 submission over Dan Hooker, and a 4th round submission over Thiago Moises. Now, Islam trained as a kid alongside arguably the greatest lightweight of all time, Khabib Nurmagomedov. They grew up together and were trained under Khabib's father, Abdulmanap, and now that Khabib has retired and Abdulmanap has passed, it's almost like a prophecy that Islam becomes champion. This is like something straight out of a movie, especially how Khabib now corners Islam and is now guiding him through his journey to become champion. And fighters from the AKA gym have said that Islam has won rounds against Khabib and has gave him problems. But you heard some of the recent names I just listed. Islam has not yet faced a fighter that was in the top 10, but we've seen the dominance, we've seen the hype. Why not throw him in there against arguably the current best lightweight in the world, Charles Oliveira, for the belt? This fight is really going to show us just how good Islam is. We've seen him dominate fighters like Bobby Green and Dan Hooker, who are hard to put away, but what is he going to look like against an elite of the division? Again, fair to say, the best lightweight in the world. Now, we know that Islam is going to implement his Dagestani style of wrestling, and I see him grinding this fight out, taking Charles to deep waters, see what he looks like after 2 rounds. Is that where Islam could possibly start to take over? Islam said it himself, he wants to take him down, make him tired, and finish him. However, I don't confidently want to say Oliveira fatigues as the fight goes on. We've seen his last 3 performances, almost getting finished round 1 against Chandler, comes back next round, gets the KO, has a crazy paced first round with Dustin Poirier where he was getting cracked, comes back with a round 3 submission. But Islam obviously has a much different style than those guys. He specializes in taking down opponents, making them tired, and dominating. He's got great submissions, good ground and pound, and it's very much a possibility that Islam could dominate the fight if it ever reaches the ground. Charles may be the best opponent Islam has faced so far, but his style is so much more different than some of the more chaotic strikers that Oliveira has fought recently. Now we move on to the former champion looking to regain his vacant belt, and listen to these last 3 wins: a victory over Justin Gaethje in a edge of your seat 1-round war, a win over Dustin Poirier, a fight many picked him to lose as champion but came back with a 3rd round submission, and a clean 2nd round KO over Michael Chandler after almost being finished in the 1st. All of Oliveira's recent fights have been absolutely amazing, and I think it's fair to say he's one of the most exciting champions on the UFC roster. Now, most MMA fans still recognize Charles Oliveira as the lightweight champion, even the boss Dana White himself, after he was stripped of his title in Arizona for losing weight by half a pound against Justin Gaethje, but that was still a fight he won, he got the finish, and for most fans, once again, this is just another title defense for New Bronx. Now, Charles has great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and great hands as well. The way he put out Chandler with that perfect left hook, the way he dropped Gaethje in the 1st round, these are guys that are known for their heavy, powerful striking styles, and Oliveira is starting to beat them at their own game. This time around, he does not have a lethal striker in front of him and has to deal with the heavy wrestling style of Islam Makhachev. I believe for this particular matchup, Charles will be looking for the finish. I don't know if he's actually wanting to go the championship rounds against Islam Makhachev, and as previously mentioned, he has a dangerous ground and stand-up game, but it's very possible Oliveira can win this fight by KO or TKO. I believe that's what he'll be looking for, and I believe he has a greater chance of winning by KO or TKO than by submission. He's going to have to stop the constant takedowns that will be coming his way, and if he keeps it on the feet, he has a really good chance of winning here. However, easier said than done. But Charles has developed such clean striking throughout the years. He's become so technical and has put good tiring pressure on his opponents, draining them with those nasty knees to the body and the clinch, front kicks to the body like he did against Poirier, and eventually breaking them down and getting a finish. Now I am very excited for this interesting clash of styles. This should be an amazing fight week, an amazing card with great matchups all over, and we're just a few days away. If Oliveira gets the win, he gets the belt back, and we can start talking about where he fits into the conversation of greatest lightweight of all time. And of course, Alexander Volkanovski is looking to move up and fight the champ at 155. That would be a massive fight, champion versus champion. If Islam becomes the new king at lightweight and wins this fight, we could see an interesting new chapter in the division. We could get a Charles rematch, maybe they make that Volkanovski fight, or he could defend his belt against all those killers in the top 5 that he hasn't fought yet. And it's looking like Charles Oliveira is once again the underdog in this one, a position he's very familiar with. We've doubted him so many times and he's proven us wrong again and again. Will he do it again? Maybe it's just Makhachev's sense of dominance that's convincing everyone that yes, he will pull this off, he will make it look easy, but we will have to wait for Saturday to find out. Let me know your predictions for this main event. Will we see a new chapter in the division with Islam as champion, or is Oliveira's reign of dominance not yet over? May the best man win. This should be an amazing fight.
Hey, the grind's on, I'm just trying to get the bands in. Take man, you know we get the hands in. Throw fists, you know that they're landing. We stand out, cause you know we can't stand in. We look good, we ain't ever look stranded. In a cute top down, tunes banging. The YG's outside just standing. Round the corner is a youth trying to bank it. With the